Studying is states of matter, chemistry class 11. So here we study about the properties of gaseous state, particles in gaseous state, and also we study liquid state also. Okay, ma? In liquid state we study about viscosity, are able to understand, surface tension. These are the properties of the liquids in liquid state. Are able to understand, ma? So viscosity and surface tension already we study in physics. Okay, so same concepts you will study in liquid state in the case of states of matter also. So this one we will not discuss. I will discuss only about gaseous state in this topic, because same discussion we will do once again in mechanical properties of solids and fluids. We will study this topic. Okay, so therefore first of all we have to study what is meant by ideal gas. Okay, ma? So first of all we will write the properties of ideal gas, ma? Properties of ideal gas. Clear? So all the atoms or molecules are considered to be perfect spheres. Okay, ma? So this is the first property of an ideal gas. Okay. Second property is that they are always in random motion. Okay, ma? Always they will be present in random motion. Okay. Third property is that, okay, ma, they undergo only elastic collisions. Okay, ma? Fourth property is that the force of attraction or repulsion between the atoms or molecules is zero. Clear, no, ma? So they are point masses with zero volume. Okay, ma? So these are some of the properties of an ideal gas. Okay, and can you name any one ideal gas, ma? Can you name any ideal gas existing in this universe? Ideal gas ko example chapanda ya? Huh? Hydrogen. Clear, ma? I am asking about inert, I am not asking about inert gases, I am asking about ideal gases. Clear, no? So, ideal gases does not exist. Clear, ma? There is no gas which is called as ideal gas. Are you able to understand? Sima, for doing these calculations, we require some standard, no? Some standard of measurement should be there. So these properties we will consider to be standard properties, and we do all the calculations. Are you able to understand? Let us see, for example, some of the properties, ma? So all the atoms or molecules are considered to be perfect spheres. So every molecule, is it a perfect sphere? It is not perfect sphere, okay? But we take spherical shapes only, then we do the calculations. Then we get approximate values. Are you able to understand? Similarly, what is the second property? They are always in random motion, so this is always satisfied. All the particles, they will be moving in random motion, whether it is an ideal gas or whether it is a real gas. Are you able to understand? So they undergo elastic collisions. What is meant by elastic collisions? Already we studied, no? When two atoms or molecules, when they collide, there is no loss of kinetic energy. Akka, namaskaram. Meekosame cheptande. Are you able to understand, ma? So what is meant by elastic collision? When these collisions happen, there is no loss of kinetic energy. That's what we have studied in physics, no? Elastic collision means what? Momentum also should be conserved. Kinetic energy also should be conserved. But practically in real gases, this will never happen. But in ideal gases, we consider the cases of elastic collisions and we do the calculations. Understood, Dhamma? And we also assume that there is no force of attraction or repulsion in between these atoms or molecules. But in reality, there will be very slight force of attraction or repulsion existing between the real gases, between atoms of real gases. But in ideal gases, we consider forces to be zero and we do the calculations. Clear, Nama? So therefore, viscous forces, surface tension, all these are absent. Okay. Similarly, we consider all of them, they are point masses with zero volume. when compared to the size of the container, size of the atom or molecule is very small, no? Container size to compare cheste, atom size, molecule size, it will be very small. So therefore we consider they are very point masses and their volume is considered to be 0. So these are the properties which we study for ideal gases, and by taking these considerations we do the calculations. But point is that there is no ideal gas existing in this universe. Okay? All these are ideal means what? Exemplary gases. A gases should be like this. Ideal student ante evani 720 ki 720 వచ్చేవాడు ఐడియల్ స్టూడెంట్ అనమాట. 300 400 వచ్చేవాళ్ళంతా సూడో స్టూడెంట్స్. అట్లనే ఇది కూడా ఐడియల్ గ్యాసెస్. క్లియర్ నమ్మా? సో సెకండ్ పాయింట్ ఈస్ దట్ at very low pressures and high temperatures, okay ma, pressure should be very low and temperature should be very large, then real gases behave like ideal gases. Okay ma? So this is another important point which we have to study. Okay? So when pressures are very low and temperatures are very large, then all these properties which we have written here, they will be almost satisfied. Okay? So pressure ela undali very low and temperature should be very large. In that condition, all these properties will be obtained by a real gas. Then it starts behaving like an ideal gas. Are you able to understand? Make a note up to here. Okay. So see, the next topic we will study about a very important equation which is called as ideal gas equation. Ideal gas equation means what? This is the equation which will be followed by all the ideal gases. Or you can say this equation will be followed even by real gases also. But what is the condition? Temperature should be very large and pressure should be very small. Then even real gases also, they will behave like ideal gases. Okay ma? Now see. So what is the equation? PV is equals to nRT. This is the equation. This is the equation of an ideal gas. What is meant by P here? P is called as pressure. Okay ma? All these quantities you know, no need of explaining once again. V is called as volume. N is called what here? N is called as number of moles of a gas. And what is meant by mole already we studied, no ma? Avogadro number of atoms, molecules or ions is called as mole. Clear? So this gas is having how many moles? That is represented by N here. And what is meant by R here? R is called as universal gas constant. Clear ma? And what is its value? It is 8.31 joules per mole Kelvin in SI system. In CGS system, if you want to write it approximately 1.98 calories per mole Kelvin. So these are the values of R value. Okay ma? And how we have converted this 8.31 into 1.98 ma? We know that 1 calorie is equals to 4.2 joules, no? This value always you should remember ma. 1 calorie is equal to 4.2 joules. So therefore 1 joule is how much? 1 joule is equals to 1 by 4.2 calories. That's all. No? So here instead of 1 joule, I can substitute 1 by 4.2. Then automatically 8.31 converts into 1.98 calories per mole Kelvin. Are you able to understand ma? And what is meant by T here? T is called as temperature in Kelvin. Always you have to write Kelvin scale only ma. Clear? Temperature should be written in which scale? Kelvin scale only you have to write. But here you can make a note point. Note point is that, clear? So change in temperature of Celsius is equals to change in temperature in the case of Kelvin. Both are same. Okay? So what is the amount of change in temperature in Celsius scale? Same will be the amount of change in Kelvin scale also. What is the reason? Endukala? See ma, temperature in Celsius magnitude and temperature in Kelvin magnitude, they are not equal. But change wise they are same. Are you able to understand? Because if I rise 1 degree Celsius in Celsius, 1 degree Kelvin also will rise. Divisions are same in Celsius and Kelvin. Evi same, divisions are same. But temperatures are not same. The magnitudes are not same. For example, if I write 0 degree Celsius, okay ma? So 0 degree Celsius is equals to how many Kelvin? 273 Kelvin. Okay? 1 degree Celsius is equals to 274 Kelvin. Okay ma? 274 Kelvin. Okay. So here what is the rise in Celsius? Delta C is how much? 1. Here delta K is how much? This is also 1. Changes are equal, but temperature magnitudes they are not equal. So you should remember. So wherever you get delta T, then you can write directly in Celsius or Kelvin, both are same. But where you have only T, then you have to write in Kelvin scale, you should not write in Celsius scale. Arthamautundi kada difference? Make a note up to here. Okay, ma? So, this is the equation which is called as ideal gas equation. PV is equals to nRT. Now see ma. So, we have a constant which is called as Boltzmann constant. Okay. So, Boltzmann constant K is equals to 1.38 into 10 power minus 23 joule per Kelvin. This is the value of Boltzmann constant. Okay. And Boltzmann constant can also be written as R divided by Na also. Okay. Boltzmann constant K can be written as R by Na also. What is R? Universal gas constant. What is Na? Avogadro number. So R divided by Na is also called as K value. Okay. Now, so therefore instead of R what I can write? Instead of R I can write K into Na no? K into Na. So take this value and substitute in ideal gas equation. So PV is equals to N. Instead of R I can write K into Na multiplied by T. I can write like this, no? Okay. Now can you say what is meant by N here? Small n means what? Number of moles. Small n means number of moles. So how many methods are there to represent a number of moles, ma? Three. What are they? So mass divided by molecular mass. This is one method. Clear, no, ma? Total volume divided by volume of 1 mole of gas. Clear, no? At a standard temperature and pressure. Clear? One more method is total number of molecules, ions or atoms divided by Avogadro number of atoms, molecules or ions. So these are the three methods by which I can write number of moles, no? Okay. So therefore, N value, how I can write? N value can be written as number of moles multiplied by Na. Can I write like this? N is equals to number of moles divided by Na. But here an ideal gas equation, I have small n, no? Instead of small n, what I can write? N divided by Na. So take this value and substitute here. Okay. Then let us see what I will get. So PV is equals to, instead of small n, I can write N divided by Na multiplied by K into Na multiplied by T. This is what I can write now. Okay. Now what are the terms which can get cancelled? Na get cancelled. So PV is equals to NKT. So this is another equation for ideal gas. Are you able to understand me? Where here nRT means N is the value for number of moles. R is universal gas constant. But here PV is equals to capital NKT. Okay, ma? So capital N is called as number of atoms, molecules or ions. K is called as Boltzmann constant. Understood, no? So questions can be given on any of these equations. You should be careful about this. Make a note. Now see. So in ideal gas equation, PV is equal to nRT. We will write different cases which are possible. Ma? It means how we are heating the gas or how we are removing gas from the system. Okay, there are three methods. First one is that number of moles of a gas, it is a constant. Okay, ma? R is already a constant, no? And if I maintain temperature also to be constant, then it is what kind of process? If temperature is constant, this is isothermal process, no? Isothermal process. Okay. So number of moles is a constant, R is a constant, T is a constant. I am heating the gas in this method. Okay. Then I can say that if these three are constants, then I can write pressure into volume is also a constant, no? Because nRT, if they are constants, the product of nRT is a constant. So PV also will become a constant. So constant I will write by K, X, Y, anything. Okay. So therefore I can write if PV is a constant and if I remove this equation, then I can write that pressure is inversely proportional to volume, no? Or also I can write volume is inversely proportional to pressure. Are you able to understand? And this condition is exactly what is called as Boyle's law. This equation, what we call, this condition is called Boyle's law. Okay. So therefore, what is the equation of Boyle's law? How can we write the equation? If number of moles also means that mass of the gas is also constant. No? Number of moles means amount of gas, quantity of gas. If number of moles are constant, what about mass of a gas? Mass of a gas is also a constant. So therefore, you can write mass also. Mass of the gas is also a constant. So when number of moles and temperature, when they are constant, then pressure of the gas is inversely proportional to volume. It means if you increase the volume, pressure will decrease. If you increase pressure, volume will decrease. They are inversely proportional to each other. and that law itself is called as Boyle's law. No need of writing the statement, no? I hope you can understand. Okay, ma? So therefore, I can write PV because this is a constant. I can write in different conditions. I can write P1 V1 is equals to P2 V2 is equals to P3 V3, and I can write for any number of conditions, and all of them they should be equal. Okay, because P into V is a constant. Understood now? Very simple. So therefore, in Boyle's law, we write relation between which one and which one? We write relation between pressure and volume. And which are the constants here? These are the constant. R is a constant. Number of moles is a constant. So therefore, mass of the gas is also a constant. Temperature also a constant. And this is definitely isothermal process because temperature is not changing. Understood, Nama? So then we write case number 2. Okay, ma? So in case number 2, which one shall we keep constant? Let us take pressure to be a constant, clear ma? And number of moles of the gas to be a constant. If number of moles are constant, I can say mass of the gas is also a constant, okay? And R is always a constant. So therefore, now which are the variables, ma? Pressure is a constant, N is a constant, R is already a constant. Then which are the variables here? Volume is directly proportional to temperature. That's all, no? And this statement is nothing but, this is the case of which law? Charles' law. Or you can call it as Charles' law. Okay, ma? Or the same equation, you can call it as Charles' law of volume also. Okay, ma? Charles' law of volume also, you can call this one. Okay. So therefore, volume is directly proportional to temperature. In which conditions? When pressure, number of moles, if they are constant. If number of moles are constant, mass of the gas is definitely constant. Clear? So therefore, I can write V by T is a constant. And that constant I can call anything, K, X, Y, Z, anything. So therefore, V1 by T1 must be equal to V2 by T2 is equals to V3 by T3, and it goes on, and finally it is equal to K. Okay, so V1, V2, V3 are different volumes at different temperatures of T1, T2 and T3. So whatever, how many conditions you can take, all of them, their ratio must remain constant. That is called as Charles' law. Okay, ma? So then we are writing case number 3. Now which of them shall I take constant? I will take volume to be constant. Okay, ma? How I am heating the gas? I am heating the gas such that I am not changing volume. How can I heat a gas without changing volume? Heat the gas in a closed container. Heating the gas in closed container, whatever may be the change in temperature, volume will never change, no? Clear, no? Like this. So volume is always a constant, and I can say that still what are the constants? Number of moles is a constant. Okay, ma? So therefore, mass of the gas is also a constant, and R is definitely a constant. Then which are the variables, ma, in this condition? Pressure and volume. So the pressure and temperature. So I can say that pressure is directly proportional to temperature. So if I start heating the gas, temperature increases, no? If temperature increases, pressure also increases. In which condition? If volume of the gas is remaining constant. Okay? So if volume remains a constant and pressure and temperature, they will increase as directly proportional. So what is the increase in temperature? So by using some constant, the change in pressure also will change. And what is that constant? That constant can be anything depend upon the initial volume of the gas, initial state of the gas. Clear? I can write P by T is a constant, and this constant can be anything, which is called as constant of proportionality. Okay? It depends on initial conditions of the gas. Okay, ma? So therefore, I will write P1 by T1 is equals to P2 by T2, and it goes on, and it is equal to K. So you can write like this also. Are you able to understand, ma? So these are some of the cases which we have studied. Okay. So let us take one more case, ma, case number 4. Okay. So in this case, I will take pressure to be constant. Okay, ma. Temperature also to be constant. Okay. Pressure I am taking constant, temperature I am taking constant. So therefore, if pressure and temperature are constant, then which are the variables we have? Volume and number of moles, they are variable. So volume is directly proportional to N. Are you able to understand, ma? And this law is called as, this case you can call. This case is called what? Avogadro's law. Okay, ma? Avogadro's law. So what is meant by Avogadro's law? If any sample of gas, it may be oxygen, it may be CO2, it may be helium, it may be hydrogen, any gas, if pressure and temperature, if they are maintained constant, then volume is directly proportional to number of moles of a gas. Or I can also say that pressure, temperature, volume, all of them if they are maintained constant, then any gas will have same number of moles. Okay? Or I can say pressure, temperature, volume if they are constant, any sample of gas should have same number of atoms, molecules or ions. I can say like this also. Are you able to understand? So write down the statement of Avogadro's law, then we will try to understand what is meant by Avogadro's law. Okay? So different statements are there. I am writing one statement, statement of Avogadro's law. Very important statement, because if you don't understand this one, solving of problems will become problematic. Okay? Now see. So at same temperature, pressure and volume, okay, samples of any gas will have same number of atoms or molecules, or just you can call them as particles also. This law is called as Avogadro's law. Are you able to understand? Now let us try to understand what is the meaning of this statement which we have written. For example, so this is one container, this is another container, okay, so this is another container, okay. So volume of the gas is V1, volume of the second gas is V2, volume of the third gas is V3. And we are writing volumes, they are equal. V1 is equal to V2 is equal to V3. For example, 1 liter container, this is also 1 liter container. Volumes are same, no? Clear, no? And pressures are also same. So pressure of this gas is P1, pressure of this gas is P2, pressure of this gas is P3. Temperatures are T1, T2 and T3. Then what, according to Avogadro's law, what I have to write? Pressures are also if they are equal. Clear, no? And temperatures also they are equal, no? So T1 is equal to T2 is equal to T3. Size is same, pressure is same, temperature also is same. Then in that condition, if this gas contains, let it be oxygen gas, let it be hydrogen gas, and let this one be CO2 gas, any gases you can take. Then this container, if it contains 100 molecules, this container also will have 100 molecules only. This container also will have 100 molecules only. This is called as Avogadro's law. Are you able to understand? So what are the conditions? Pressure and temperature, if they are same, then volume is directly proportional to number of moles. Okay, if volume increases, number of moles of the gas also increases. But if volume is also made constant, then number of moles also will remain constant. Number of moles is nothing but number of particles, no? Because 1 mole is a fixed value, no? If number of moles are constant, number of particles are also constant. Number of particles means what? Atoms or molecules or ions. Anything will be same. So this is the symbolic representation of Avogadro's law. Okay, volumes are same, pressures are same, temperatures are also same. Then whatever may be the gas, whether it is oxygen, whether it is hydrogen, whether it is carbon dioxide, helium, argon, neon, whatever may be the gas, they must have same number of atoms or same number of molecules. Understood, no? So this is a very, very, very important law. Clear? Because while solving these problems, we should have a very good idea of all these laws. Otherwise, problem solution will become very tough. Okay? So see, depending on the given question, you can select any one of these laws. Okay? So depending on the question, he may be asking question on Boyle's law, he may be asking question on Charles' law, he may be asking question on Avogadro's law. Are you able to understand? He may be asking question on Gay-Lussac's law. Gay-Lussac's law, did I write, this law is nothing but Gay-Lussac's law. So write down here. Okay, case number 3 here we are writing. This law is called as what? Gay-Lussac's law. Okay, or also you can call it as Charles' law of pressure also. Okay, same Gay-Lussac's law, what you can call? You can call it as Charles' law of pressure also. Okay, and this law is called as Charles' law of volume, no? And this is called Charles' law of pressure, or in modern terms we are calling this law as Gay-Lussac's law. Understood, Nama? Okay. So you can use any one of these equations for solving problems depending upon the situation of the problem. Or you can do one thing. You can use the universal equation. What is the universal equation? PV is equal to nRT. So all these laws, they are derived from this law only, no? So this only you can use directly without trying to find out whether it is Boyle's law, Charles' law, or Gay-Lussac's law, talabadukokunda. You can use this equation and you can do the calculation. Because all of them, they are derived from only one equation. PV is equal to nRT. Understood, no? That's it. Okay, make a note. Sima. So we are following some strategies for solving problems. So first strategy is that, so for any problem which is given directly, you can use PV is equal to nRT without searching for whether it is Charles' law, Boyle's law, Avogadro's law. Directly you can use PV is equal to nRT. And second condition is that, if for example, if you are mixing gases, if you are removing some gases, you are heating the gases, you are compressing the gas, whatever you do, chemical reaction should not happen. Clear, Nama? If chemical reactions doesn't take place, the number of moles of any gas always remains a constant. Are you able to understand? For example, in a container, clear, ma? I am taking 2 moles of hydrogen gas, for example. Okay? 2 moles of hydrogen gas I am taking in a container. If I compress this gas, 2 moles, will it change, ma? 2 moles remains to be 2 moles only. Number of particles, they never change, no? Clear? Similarly, if I expand this one, if I increase its pressure, or even if I heat this gas also, nothing will change, no? 2 moles remains to be 2 moles only. But number of moles will change in which condition? Only when any chemical reaction changes, then delta Ng value we have to consider. What is meant by delta Ng? The change in number of moles of products minus number of moles of reactants in gaseous form. That is called as delta Ng, no? But as far as chemical reaction is not happening, number of initial moles of gas is equals to number of final moles of the same gas. Okay. So based on this technique, now we are going to solve some problems. Okay. Let us see this question, ma. So a vessel of 120 ml capacity contains certain amount of gas at 35 degrees Celsius and 12 bar pressure. Okay, ma. So the gas is transferred to another vessel of volume 180 ml at 35 degrees Celsius. Then what would be its pressure? Now can you say, question is based on which law? Baga chudandi. Question is based on which law? What is the initial temperature? 35. Final temperature? 35. So temperature is not changing. It means relation is only between pressure and volume only. If relation is between pressure and volume, then what is that law? Boyle's law. Are you able to understand, ma? So therefore, if he is asking questions on Boyle's law, definitely you can write pressure is inversely proportional to volume. Okay, ma? Boyle's law. Okay. Then you can write P1 V1 is equals to P2 V2. That's all. 2 conditions are there, no? Okay. So what is the initial volume? Initial volume is V1. Clear, no, ma? Initially what is happening actually? There is a gas present in 120 ml volume and we are shifting that gas to another container. Initially container was smaller. Then we have shifted the same gas to bigger container. It means volume has increased, no? If volume increases, what happens to pressure? Pressure should decrease. That's all. Nothing we are changing. So just we are shifting the gas from smaller container to bigger container. That's it. So what is its initial volume? It is 120 ml and total gas is shifted to 180 ml of gas. That's it. That's what we are doing. So temperature is not changed, no? So this is an isothermal process and we cannot say isothermal process because we are not supplying any heat energy, no, here. Temperature is not changing, so therefore we can consider this one to be Boyle's law. Therefore, what is the initial pressure, ma? 12 bar. See, ma, here units are given in bars. Okay. But options are also given in bars only, no? So you need not convert this one into atmosphere or any other unit. Okay. Should be very careful about units now. So answer is also given in bars only, no? You need not convert. So pressure is 12 bar. And initial volume is 180 ml. Clear, no, ma? And here you can write down 1 ml is equals to 1 centimeter cube. Both are same. 1 ml and 1 centimeter cube both are same. Okay, ma? And final volume is also given in ml only, no? Initial volume is given in ml. Final volume also in ml only. So again, you did not change the units here. So initial volume is 120. Okay, ma? P2. Final pressure is, that's what I have to find out. And what is the final volume? Final volume is 180. So therefore just do this calculation. So P2 is equals to 12 into 120 divided by 180. So if you do this calculation, then it is 12 into 12 divided by 80. Okay, ma? So, any mistake we have done, na? Why we need not convert? No. Here also given in ml, here also given in ml only, no ma? Then maybe options may be wrong. Options may be wrong. We did not change the units. Now, pressure, it is given in bars. Volume, it is given in ml. So you need not convert anything. Even if you convert also, conversion factors will get cancelled with each other, no? You need not convert. Maybe options may be wrong. Clear, no? What was the initial pressure, ma? 12, no? So 0.8 may not be correct. 8 may be correct. Because slightly we are increasing the volume, no? So pressure also decreases slightly. It cannot become 0.8. No, options are wrong here. So do this calculation, how much you will get? 8, huh? So option is 8 bar. That is the option. Clear, no? So 8 bars. This is the final pressure. Understood, no? That's it. I don't think. Let us see, ma. See, ma, here. So two glass bulbs A and B are connected by a very small tube, ma, having a wall. It means, let me draw this beautiful diagram, ma. So this is one glass bulb. This is another glass bulb. Okay, ma. So both of them, they are connected by a tube. And to this tube, there is one valve also. Okay. Wall means what? If I rotate this valve, gases will intermix from one glass container to another glass container. That is called as a valve. Clear, no, ma? So let this one be A, this one be B, and bulb A has how much volume? 100 centimeter cube. This is the volume of this one. While B is empty. On opening the valve, pressure falls down to 40%. Okay, ma? Then volume of the second bulb must be. Then volume of the second bulb is how much? That is the question. Clear, no, ma? It means initially only glass A is filled with gas. Huh? And this one is empty here. Empty means there is no gas. Vacuum is present inside this one. If I open this valve, can you say what will happen? Gas will flow into this second container also, no? And see, a gas, wherever it sees the volume, it tries to occupy the total volume. Are you able to understand? So as soon as you release this one, some of the gas enters into second bulb also. Okay? And then what about pressures? Now gas will redistribute such that pressure in first bulb, pressure in second bulb will be same. Same pressure must be present. Are you able to understand, ma? Because temperatures are same, no? So pressure exerted by each gas also will be same. Okay? Now see. Therefore, what is the note point we have to write? A point is that, so as valve is opened, okay, ma? Gas in A will expand and occupy B also. Okay, ma? And final pressure in both containers, remains same. Okay? Why pressure remains the same? Because there is only single gas, no? So wherever it tries to find the volume, it tries to go there until all the pressure everywhere becomes same. Okay? So therefore finally I can say that final pressure in gas A, container A, is equals to final pressure in container B. Definitely pressures will be same, final pressures. PF means final pressure. Understood, Nama? So therefore temperatures, are they changing, ma, here? Temperatures are not changing. Clear? But what is changing? Volume is changing. So therefore pressure will change. So again question is based on what? Again question is still based on Boyle's law, not Charles' law. Okay? But now we don't go for discussion whether it is Boyle's law, Charles' law, Avogadro's law, all that. Just we will use the equation PV is equals to nRT, ideal gas equation. Okay, ma? Now see. So another note point is that chemical reaction, is it happening, ma? So if I just open this valve, so this gas goes and reacts with something here. Chemical reaction is not happening, no? Okay, so next point is that note point. Chemical reaction does not take place. Okay. So if chemical reaction doesn't take place, what is the point we have studied? Number of moles of initial gas and number of moles of final gas, they must be equal. So for example, initially here 100 molecules of this particular gas is there. Even after opening also, 100 molecules only present, but those molecules, they will be distributed both in A as well as in B also. So therefore, what I can write as chemical reactions are not happening, N initial is equal to N final. Total initial number of moles and total final number of moles, they must be equal, because number of molecules of gas, they are not changing. Are you able to understand? So therefore, N value, how I can write from this ideal gas equation? N is equal to, I can write PV divided by RT, no? PV divided by RT. So N1 is equal to N2. So write down P1 V1 divided by RT1 is equal to P2 V2 divided by RT2. Can I write like this or not? Right, sir? Definitely I can write. No? Number of moles are same. So number of moles formula PV by RT. So P1 V1 by RT1 is equals to P2 V2 by RT2. R is always a constant. So R value you can cancel. Temperature, he did not mention anything about temperature, no? Just if I open the gas, temperature, will it change? Temperature does not change. So temperature also is a constant. So again I got same Boyle's equation, P1 V1 is equals to P2 V2. So substitute there. Clear, Nama? So what is the initial pressure here? Where is that? He did not give anything about pressure, no? 40%, it falls down to 40%. That's what he gave, no? So let us call initial pressure is P. Let us consider initial pressure is P, because he did not give anything, so I am considering it to be P. And initial volume is how much? At least he gave that one. Where is that? 100 centimeter cube. So final volume is 100. Okay, initial volume. Divided by, there is nothing to divide. So this is equals to P2 V2. Final pressure. Final pressure is, it falls to 40, no? He did not say falls by 40, he did not say. He said pressure falls to 40. It means what is the final pressure? It is 40 by 100 multiplied by P. This is the final pressure. Can I write like this? Understood, Nama? Initial pressure is P. Final pressure is only 40% of initial pressure. So 40 by 100 multiplied by P. Now what is the total final volume? Can you see? Final volume. Initial volume, gas was present only in this container, Nama? Initially, where gas was present? Only in this container. Now gas is present in this also, in this also. Both containers it is present. No? So therefore, what is the final volume? Final volume I can write 100 plus V. Initial volume 100 only, no? 100. 100 plus V. This is how I can write. Understood, no? Initially, only this much volume of gas was present. But when I open the valve, now gas is entering into second one also, no? Its volume only he is asking us to find out, no? Find the volume must be dash. So final volume of this one, let it be V. Then what is the total volume? 100 plus V. Now gas is present in all the containers, no? So 100 plus V will become the final volume. Just calculate V value from that one. That is my required answer. Okay? So calculate. So where shall we calculate? Okay. So P and P get cancelled. So therefore 100 is equals to 40 by 100 multiplied by 100 plus V. That's all, Nama. PP get cancelled and remaining everything is present like it is. So 0, 0 get cancelled. So 1000 is equals to 400 plus V. 400 plus 4V. Clear, Nama? So therefore 4V is equals to 600. So V is equals to 600 by 4 is how much? 150. 150 centimeter cube is our answer. That's it. Understood, Nama? Very simple. So based on which logic we have done this calculation, ma? Logic is that there is no chemical reaction. Chemical reaction, if it doesn't change, number of moles of a gas remains constant. Initially, if there are 2 moles, finally also 2 moles only. Okay? And we know ideal gas equation, no? Just substituting and we are getting the answer. In the Sima. So, 2 closed vessels of equal volume containing air at pressure P1 and temperature T1 are connected to each other. Let us draw the diagram of this one, ma. So this is one container. Okay. So this is another container, ma. Volumes are same, no? Volume is V. Here also volume is V. Volumes are same. Then what about pressure? Here pressure is P1 and here also pressure is P1. Pressures are also same. And point is that temperatures also they are same. Pressure is same. Volume is same. Temperature is also same. Everything is same. So now what we are connecting both of them by a tube, by a bulb. Okay, ma? Now can you say after connection, air will it enter into another container or air doesn't enter? Huh? Air will never enter. Why? Pressures are same, no? Then why air will enter? Pressure will never, air will never enter into another container. Even if you connect them by a tube also, gas molecules, they will be in random motion only. They will not move from one place to another place. That is, they will not move from one container to another container even after connection. Okay? Now see. Now what I am doing is, if temperature now means what? After connection. Now we are maintaining at T2, another one at T1. So let us consider, for example, T2 is greater than T1. It means what I am doing to this second container, I am heating this second container, so that temperature changes. So initial temperatures were at T1 only, no? And final temperature of container B is T2. We are changing the temperature of this one. But temperature of first container is maintained at T1 only. Temperature of second one we are changing. It means consider you are placing this container in refrigerator, you are changing the temperature. Or you can heat this container also, no? Then also temperature can be changed. Now if I study about only this container, volume is a constant, no? But if you raise the temperature, then pressure should increase, no? In container B, let us call it as A container, this is B. Okay, ma? So I am discussing about container B. Okay. What we are doing, temperature is rising, no? Volume constant. Therefore, pressure also should rise, no? Because if volume and number of moles, if they are constant, then pressure is directly proportional to temperature, which is also called as Gay-Lussac's law. Okay, ma? So if pressure increases, what happens? Gas will enter from second container to first container. That is what will happen. Understood, no, ma? If you raise its temperature, gas will enter from second container to first container because pressure has risen, no? And this transfer of gases will continue up to which time? Until again pressures in both containers remain same. But pressures have changed, no? Initially in both of them, pressure was P1 and P1. Now finally, pressure in both of them will be P2 and P2. Are you able to understand? Initial pressures are P1, P1. Final pressure will be P2, P2. Volumes are there, they are remaining same, but temperatures are different. Temperature here it is T2 and temperature here it is T1. Chemical reaction, is it happening, ma? Chemical reaction is not happening, no? So number of moles of gas remains to be same. So again, based on the same logic, we will do this calculation. Okay. So therefore, what we say, number of initial moles is equals to number of final moles. This is after connection and this is after heating. Okay. So write down. So number of initial moles in total system I will take, ma. So N value is already equal to PV divided by RT, no? Okay, ma. So therefore, N value we will calculate before heating and after heating. Pipe is already connected. So this total I can take it as one system, no? This total I can take it as one system. So what I will do, what are the initial number of moles in the first container, ma? So initial pressure is P1, initial volume is V, R is same, temperature is T1. That's all. So these are the number of moles in first container. What are the number of moles in second container? Pressure is P1, volume is V, R is R only, temperature is T1 only. In both of them, same pressure, same temperature, same volume, everything is same, no? But this total is the number of moles before heating. Before heating. After heating, now what are the number of moles in first one? Final pressure is P2, no? Final volume is remaining same, R is same, but temperature is remaining same. You are heating this one only, no? This one is not heated. Temperature of this one is T1 only, but temperature of this one is T2. So number of moles in second container? Pressure is P2, volume is V only, R is same, temperature is T2. That's all. That's all. That is my equation. No, there is only single gas, no, ma. Two gases are not there, no, for reaction. There is only one gas, that's it. So there is no concept of chemical reaction. So number of moles remains to be same. Understood? Where? Here, huh? Initial pressure P1 only, no? Final pressure will definitely change, no? Because some of the gas is entering into first container, no? If number of molecules increases, what happens to pressure? Pressure also increases, Avogadro's law. Are you able to understand? So some of the pressure is leaving this container, some of the molecules, they are leaving this container, they are entering into this container. So here pressure will definitely increase. But same pressure should be present here also, no? So here also pressure will be P2. Understood? Now just do the calculation. So volume is constant, R is constant, volume is constant, R is constant, volume is constant, R is constant, volume is constant, R is constant. Clear, no? So therefore, P1 by T1 plus P1 by T1 is equals to P2 by T1 plus P2 by T2. That's all, no? So therefore, I can also write it as 2 P1 by T1 is equal to P2 if I take common, then it is 1 by T1 plus 1 by T2. That's all. What I want T2 only, no final pressure I want. So therefore 2P1 divided by T1 is equal to P2 if I take common, then it is T1 plus T2 divided by T1 T2. Okay. Therefore if I do the calculation further, okay ma, so okay, flow lo unnappudu disturb cheyakudadu nanu. Right? Did I do any mistake? These two na. These two you cannot add. P1 by T1, P1 by T1, 2P1 by T1. Yeah, right type now last. Okay ma. So therefore, so 2P1 by T1 is equals to P2, or I can do one thing. So P2 is equals to 2P1 into T1 T2 divided by T1 multiplied by T1 plus T2. Okay. So T1 get cancelled. So therefore, what is the final pressure ma? 2P1 T2 divided by T1 plus T2. So this is the final pressure. That's my answer. Clear, no? Very, very easy calculations. Just you should understand, read the problem very, very carefully. Draw a diagram. Good answer lo cheppakudadu. Diagram este meeku clarity vastadi em jarugutundi ikkada. Then according to that you can proceed the problem. Okay. Okay, Sima. So a student forgot to add the reaction mixture to the round bottomed flask. It means he is taking one flask ma. A round bottomed flask means, so this is a round bottomed flask. Okay. So some gas is present, or you can say some air is present initially inside this one. So instead of placing the chemical mixture which he want to test that one, without placing anything he started heating that. Okay. So therefore what is happening in the second condition? So he didn't place anything, but he started heating this mixture. Okay. She realized, and what was the initial temperature of this one? 27 degrees Celsius, or you can write 300 Kelvin. Because 27 plus 273, 300 only, number 300. And volumes are same now, so you can write initial volume V. Here also initial volume is V only. Okay. So after a lapse of time, she realized the mistake, and using a pyrometer, she found the temperature of flask was 477. So what is the final temperature? T1 was 300, but T2 will be 477 plus 273. How much ma? 750. 750 Kelvin. This is the final temperature of the mixture. Then the question is, what fraction of air would be expelled out? See ma, if you start heating this, listen very carefully. If you start heating this gas, volume is a constant, you know. So if volume is a constant, pressure is directly proportional to temperature, no ma? So pressure automatically increases. If pressure increases, gas tries to move in upwards direction. Gas will try to move in every possible direction. So until same pressures are obtained in atmosphere also, inside this container also. See ma, here initially what should have been the pressure? Atmospheric pressure, no, inside this container. Why? Because outside also atmospheric pressure will be present. So what is the pressure in the atmosphere? Same pressure will be present inside the container also, because it is an open container. Container is open, no ma? What is the pressure of atmosphere? Same pressure will be existing inside the container also. Now when I start heating this one, now as pressure increases, this some of the gas molecules, they will move into atmosphere, no? And movement will stop after how much time? Until again pressures they will become equal, that's all. So again here the pressure is atmospheric pressure only, that is for here also pressure should be atmospheric pressure only. So until that the gas will continuously, it will move into the atmosphere. Okay ma? But whatever it may be, so consider here this much of gas has entered into the atmosphere. So here if number of moles are N1, and here if this total system, if I take number of moles to be N2, then definitely I can say N1 and N2 both are same number. N1 is I am not discussing the gas only present inside the container. Here some of the gas has gone outside the container also. So that gas also I am taking as a system. Okay ma? The gas which has left the container, that also I am taking to be the system only. So it means this total I am taking to be one system. The number of moles, they will remain same. Are you able to understand? So previously 100 molecules were there. Now inside the container only 80 molecules are there. Then what about remaining 20? They have gone into atmosphere. But 20 plus 80, 100 only, no? So number of moles doesn't change. Are you able to understand? So therefore based on that concept, what I am supposed to calculate, what fraction of air would be expelled. So therefore I will do some assumptions. Let amount of expelled air, let amount of expelled air, let it be delta n. Okay ma? this much amount of air has gone into the atmosphere, or you can say this many moles of gas has gone into the atmosphere. Okay, but he is not asking number of moles, no, he is asking what? Fraction means how can I calculate? Fraction means number of moles gone into the atmosphere divided by initial number of moles. This is how I take a fraction, no? So these many moles have entered into atmosphere and original number of moles are Ni. So change divided by Ni will give fraction. Fraction multiplied by 100 will give percentage. Percentage he is not asking, he is asking only fraction only. So delta N divided by Ni. This is what I am supposed to calculate. Understood, Dhamma? So whatever you want to do, so you have to calculate this relation. Then that is my answer. Okay, let us see how I can do this one. So can I write total initial number of moles is equals to final number of moles present inside this container plus delta N. Can I write like this? What is Ni? Number of moles present in the container. What is Nf? Final number of moles present inside the container. And what is delta N? The number of moles which have left the container. I can definitely write like this, no? Why I am writing like this? Because every side I want to divide by Ni so that I can get the ratio delta N by delta Ni. Now delta N by Ni. Okay, ma? So dividing everything by Ni. What I will get? Ni divided by Ni is equals to Nf divided by Ni plus delta N divided by Ni. I can write like this. So I got this required equation, no? Okay, ma? So whatever it may be, you have to get the required equation. That is our purpose, no? Now see. So therefore, Ni by Ni, 1. So 1 is equals to Nf divided by Ni plus delta N divided by Ni, initial number of moles. So I want this relation only, so do one thing. So delta N divided by Ni is equals to 1 minus Nf divided by Ni. I can write like this, no? Okay, ma? Now what is Nf means what? Final number of moles present inside the container. This is Nf, no? Okay, ma? And we know how to calculate number of moles, no? PV by RT. That's all, no? So do the calculation. So therefore, delta N divided by Ni is equals to 1 minus final number of moles. How can I calculate? P. What is the final pressure? Final pressure is P only, no? Final pressure is atmospheric pressure only. Are able to understand? No? Pressure never changes because it is an open container, no? What kind of container is this? Open container. In open container, you can never change the pressure. Always it will be atmospheric pressure only. Okay, so you can write atmospheric pressure. So PV, and what is the volume? Volume is same volume, no? PV divided by R. Now what is the final temperature, ma? Final temperature is 750. That's all, no? Divided by Ni. What is Ni? Initial number of moles. Again PV is equal to nRT only, no? So N is equal to PV by RT. PV is atmospheric pressure only. Volume is same volume. R is same. And what is the initial temperature? 300. Clear, no? That's all. Now just do this calculation. అర్థమవుతుంది ఎలా చేస్తున్నామా? Very simple. This is what I want. Okay, ma? To get this relation, this is the format of equation which I have written. This is purely our common sense only. Nobody can help here. Understood, no? Purely based on our common sense, how we have to do different techniques of solving the problem. Clear? Now substitute. Now what are the terms which will get cancelled, ma? Pressure, volume, R and R will get cancelled. So therefore, delta N by Ni is equals to 1 minus 300 divided by 750. Okay. So I will do the calculation here. So delta N by Ni is equals to 750 minus 300 divided by 750. 750 minus 300 how much, ma? 450. 450 only, no? 450 by 750. So by 9, can I 5? 9 5s are 45, 9 10 15. So therefore it is 3 by 5. That is my answer. Okay, ma? So how much a fraction of air has gone outside, ma? 3 by 5th of the initial volume has, initial number of moles have gone outside, and only 2 by 5th is present inside that, what you call round bottomed flask. 3 by 5th of the gas has moved outside. Only 2 by 5 is present inside. Understood, no? That's all. Okay, ma?